This presentation is about the politics of India. It is the biggest democracy in the world. This presentation covers a number of subjects. It discusses India in general, the branches of government, its elections, ongoing and new issues, political parties, and political alliances. Speaking in general terms, India is a federal parliamentary democracy and a republic. Its population is about 1.25 billion people, and its elections are therefore huge and complicated. It has the longest and most amended constitution in the world, and its government is modeled on the governments of the UK, Canada, Australia, and the United States. Its politics are rougher and more corrupt, and assassinations, unfortunately, are not uncommon. We're now going to look at branches of government. In India, the executive branch of government is made up of the President, the Prime Minister, and the Council of Ministers. The President's job is ceremonial. He is the head of state, and he is elected by 4,500 federal and state legislators. The Prime Minister, however, is the head of government, and he is the leader of the majority party in the Lok Sabha, the lower chamber. He is assisted by a Council of Ministers, which he chooses. The legislature is made up of two chambers. The lower chamber, the Lok Sabha, or House of the People, deals with money. It has 445 members in 2016, 530 from the states, 13 from the territories, 2 Anglo-Indian members, some compulsory and scheduled caste or tribe members, elected to a 5-year term. The upper chamber, or Rajya Sabha, is also known as the Council of States. It has up to 250 members. 12 are nominated, 230 are elected by the states through an indirect proportional system. Each has a 6-year term, with a third of the chamber being elected every 2 years, and it cannot be dissolved. Next, we will look at elections. Elections, as I've mentioned, are huge, complicated affairs in India. There are over 800 million voters, and a significant proportion of these are not literate. There are over 1 million polling booths, 7 weeks of voting. The electoral staff and the soldiers preserving their safety move around the country. It is a first-past-the-post system. There is now a none-of-the-above option on the ballot, and turnout is low at 55%. One of the very noticeable facts about the Lok Sabha is that both a third of the members and a third of the candidates for election had criminal cases pending against them. Corruption, unfortunately, is high. Next, we turn to ongoing and new political issues. Some ongoing issues in India include corruption, unemployment, rising inflation, a faltering economy, women's safety, and national security. Some of the newer issues include the fact that voters can now reject all candidates, transgendered people can now vote in India, and there is heavy use of social media. Next, we will look at political parties in India. For a party to run in national elections, it must be recognized, and here are the criteria for that. It must win 2% of seats in at least 3 states. It must poll 6% of the votes in at least 4 states. It must win 4 Lok Sabha seats, and it must be recognized already in 4 states. Here you can see the recognized parties as of 16 September 2014. The first party we will look at is the Bharatiya Janata Party, or BJP. It is the largest in the world for members and seats in 2015. Its leader is controversial, and that leader is Narendra Modi. It is the leading party in the right-wing coalition of India, the National Democratic Alliance. Its ideology includes a neoliberal and indigenous belief of the primacy of Indian culture over Westernization, social conservatism, and a nationalist foreign policy. Among the positions of the BJP are the abrogation of the special status to Jammu and Kashmir, the building of a Ram temple in Ayodhya, a uniform civil code, and globalization and economic growth over social welfare. Another important party is the Indian National Congress, a leading party in the center-left coalition, the United Progressive Alliance. Its positions include deregulation, privatization, and foreign investment. This party has dominated much of Indian history, providing 7 prime ministers and playing a prominent role in independence. Shown here is one of the presidents of the Indian National Congress, the great Dalit leader and activist, Bhimrao Ambedkar. We can now look at electoral alliances in India. The first alliance is the United Progressive Alliance. It is a center-left coalition led by the Indian National Congress. It was created in 2004 and won the 2009 election. The second great alliance is the National Democratic Alliance. It is a center-right coalition led by the BJP. It was formed in 1998 and won the 1999 and 2014 elections. The next alliance is called the Third Front, and it is made up of the leftover smaller parties of India. There is no official leading party, unlike the other 2 alliances, and there are no ideological similarities between the parties. And indeed, parties come and go in this alliance. In Indian politics, there is much to admire and inspire, but the reality is also disconcerting.